Hey, so I wanted to continue the subject I was talking about in the last video, this concept of attention, because I think it's really important in today's day and age. There seems to be an acceleration with our phones and the internet and these technologies where I think many people find themselves accelerating into more ADD, attention deficit, the inability to hold your attention. You know, have you ever grabbed your phone to do something, to check your bank account or check your calendar, do something specific on your phone, and you open it up and something else, there's a text or there's an email, and all of a sudden you're completely distracted and you handle whatever it is that interrupted you and then put your phone down and not even complete the task that you picked your phone up to do. Um, that happens to me all the time. And I notice that there, for me, at least personally, there seems to be an acceleration of, this attention deficit where there's always a text buzzing in, there's always an email. I keep notifications turned off on my phone, but I'm sure some people have their phone is constantly buzzing with notifications from all the various apps they use and emails and things like this. Um, and just the availability of the internet in general, the ability to Google something that you were thinking about, or some kind of stimulus triggered you to stop what you were doing. Maybe you were reading a book, but then you want to Google something about it, but then that leads to something else, and all of a sudden you're surfing, and there's many times that I find myself kind of rotating between three tasks as maybe I'm writing and then, oh, I'll need to Google this and then I'll do this other thing, then I'll come back to writing. And um, what I wanted to talk about today is go the other way. Go the other way. As everyone gets more and more ADD and sucked into their phones and sucked into various web technologies and connectivity and this, what if you went the other way? um, and I guess what I'm hinting at is some type of systematic practice. We talked about it in the last video, meditation, or something where you're taking your awareness, your attention, and focusing into one thing. That's essentially what this channel is about. That is, I want to get into what I would call yogic systems. And this is nothing specific. I mean, there's many different schools of yoga, and we're not talking about hatha yoga or the physical practice. That's one component, but there's, I think when I say the word yoga in my head, I think of kind of like a spiritual system or some kind of system, some kind of discipline, some kind of technique that you can practice, that you can apply to increase your personal power. And in the video where I really talked about what spaceship instruction is, half of it is talking about our own individual, our own spaceship, our own body, our mind, our emotions, our vibration. There's techniques in where you can systematically practice a form of discipline and concentration. There's many techniques. Um, there's traditional Indian yoga, but there's many schools of that based on geographical region. But also you have the offshoots of that historically, Chinese Taoism and Zen Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism. Um, a lot of that led to influence Western esotericism, Hermeticism, Rosicrucianism, things like this, commonly considered magic. It's all a way about focusing the mind, focusing the body, focusing your vibration. That's what this channel is going to explore. So on this subject, the subject of this living in this modern world where all I can talk about is my own personal experience and people I talk to, but I'm sure that many people in Western society are experiencing this scattered attention and beeps and buzzes coming in from these devices and the availability to just go into the internet, and all of a sudden you are presented with infinite things, it seems like, subjects, infinite ways to entertain yourself. What if you went the opposite way? What if you got very obsessive or focused on just a few things in your life and you put all your concentration on those? Don't you think you over time you may have an advantage, relative to most people in Western society, as far as like not only being focused within your own self, your own vibration, and having your emotions more on a level of, oscillation through time, not being wildly pulled in every direction or having your emotions affected in every direction, regulating yourself. But also being able to affect change out in the external world more effectively. If you were to go the other way, limit your exposure from these distractions. The same goes for desires. All humans have conscious and unconscious desires, from what we want to eat, the type of things we want to eat, from sexual desires, from entertainment desires, all these things related to dopamine and other neurotransmitter release. In today's day and age, there is an aspect of immediate gratification. Everything is expected to happen quicker, and it seems like there's more availability for things. And like, it's very clear that you can engage in that, and over time, what it results in is dopamine depletion. If you satiate your desires all the time and expect immediate gratification, you may be able to do that. You may be able to set up your life that you can do that more and more, but the end result is kind of a downward spiral as you lose your zest for life, as nothing seems to satisfy anymore. That's dopamine depletion. Also related to the ability to focus. ADHD is related to dopamine, so a lack of dopamine. What I'm getting at here is, what if you kind of did the opposite? In today's day and age where there's all kinds of food stuff and rich food stuff and Netflix and all these ways to engage and fulfill desire, what if you limited your desires? What if you controlled your desires? What if you applied discipline and restriction to your desires in order to kind of stoke the fire of your desire, to use it as an internal motor? What I'm getting at in this video is, consider that. Consider looking at where society is going in terms of technology and these things. What if you went the other way? I'm not talking about becoming, whatever the word is for people that chew technology and don't use it, but apply discipline in your life and consciously restrict distractions and outlets for desire. Come into yourself, focus yourself. I think it would give you a huge advantage relative to the majority of people in Western society. It's needed. It's needed. The human individual has enormous potential, and it's all about how you apply yourself and also what you expose yourself to. And so, but to sum it up, those two things: distraction in a given day. How much do you pick up your phone and fiddle around on it? How many times do you stop what you're doing to Google something? How many times does your phone notify you of that someone's pinging you? how many given media sources are you exposed to in a given day? So that's related to distraction slash attention. The other thing is desire, related to the base functioning of the human, base desires, food stuff, sex, media, entertainment, um, I guess even drugs, things like this. Really examine that. My theory is as you limit those things, you're kind of saving an energy. You could call it kundalini energy, but it's the more you control your desires, the more you control yourself, and then you can apply your own internal will, your own internal fire to accomplish what you want, or to hold onto your vibration. If you're a slave to desire, you're going to be blown around with the winds. You're going to be subject to all manner of influence. If you're in control of your desire, you're in control of yourself. So, these may sound like kind of grim, bleak practices, like you're limiting your contact, you're limiting the richness of your exposure to what's going on in the world. There's, people talk about FOMO, fear of missing out. People experience this when they get off their social media outlets. They feel like, oh, everyone's on there talking and having fun, and they're all up to date with the latest news and the latest happenings. And if I'm not connected, then I'm going to miss out on all that. People are scared of that. They don't. They're scared of not being connected. But if you see it in a different way, it isn't bleak. It actually gives you an advantage. It'll make the quality of your days richer. It's not necessarily about the number of things you're exposed to in a different day, or connections, or the variety of experience that makes your daily life rich. It's more about the quality of those connections, the quality of your experience. Can you have one activity or a couple activities in a given day, but go so deep into them that the quality changes, and that's what it affected. There's plenty of people who are very well connected and do all kinds of stuff, but it's mostly superficial, minimize, and therefore enhancing the quality of what you engage in and what you're exposed to. Limit the satiation of your desire so that when you do eat a good meal, that it seems incredible. If you eat amazing food 3 times a day, it loses its effect. This is true with any kind of desire. So these are just some basic premises and concept behind practices like various yogic practices. And we're going to talk a lot more about this on this channel, but I just wanted to clarify a little bit what I was talking about in the last video regarding attention. Really think about that. Look at yourself, look at other people, and try to begin a conscious practice to really design your days and design how you interact with these electronic technologies, and what you expose yourself to in a given day. See what happens. All right. See you next time.